So here's the thing. I put this up, you may remember, in my last bedroom makeover video because I thought it would be a nice way to hide the storage that I had in here. Problem is, I have ADHD, so if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And this curtain, let me tell you, will hide a whole lot. The other problem is that my cat keeps knocking down the boxes and the clothes and the bins that I have stored things in her manic urge to get behind everything or sleep on anything that is soft. So we're gonna change this. Let me just show you, before we get into the first stage of changing storage, the horror that is this closet. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's not, well, it's really badly done. I really, really hate these. These are the worst storage bins I've ever had because they're soft, they're not stackable, they're hard to pull out. These are the ones that my cats constantly knock over, and I have just begun to throw things in here to hide it, and then it's a disaster. So I'm gonna pull out the hats first because that's like my biggest storage concern right now, is that my youngest cat, who is a year old, she constantly is knocking down my boxes of hats and trying to sleep in them and eating the feathers. So I have finally found a solution that is not only functional, it is also practical and stackable. Let's get into it.
If you watched my trying on my entire vintage wardrobe, you will have seen these bins, which are beautiful and perfect for this closet. However, the mess that is the rest of it has not allowed me to actually store them the way that I want to. So it's actually the third and only storage closet in our house, and it's quite big. It's just very inefficient at the moment.
I just need you all to know that I am letting you in on my deepest shame at the moment in showing you just how much of a piler I am. If you've never researched ADHD and the sit it and forget it, hide it and forget it, out of sight, out of mind, whatever that phenomenon is, do that, because the constant fight in my brain between needing things to be visible and easily accessible and needing things to be aesthetically beautiful. Like, some people do aesthetics just because it looks pretty. I do aesthetics because visual clutter is so overstimulating to me and so stressful to me. This is the bane of my existence, and I am determined to conquer it by any means necessary. So I have all my hats. I am probably also going to see if I have enough storage to put in my like vintage gowns and robes. Like the sheer ones, I have them in my underwear drawer, but they take up a lot of space and they don't stay folded. And I just need a different solution so that I'm not constantly fighting them in my drawers. And then I also am thinking I will probably put my scarves in a box, gloves, and collars if I decide to keep them. I have this box of collars, and they are very, very cute, but I don't wear them. So I've had a hard time trying to decide if I want to let them go, simply because they're really cute, but I think it might be time to say goodbye to the collars. But hats first.
So I decided to try to sort of color coordinate my hats to the boxes they were going into, and later I realized I didn't actually have to do this because I planned to take all of my black hats off the wall and put up the pink ones. But for the beginning of this video anyway, I color coordinated the boxes to the hats, and then I put all of my berets into a box and I folded them in half so that I could actually see them. So that when I'm picking a beret, it's a lot easier to just grab the one that I wanted. This was the biggest problem I had with my storage before, was that they were stacked on top of each other, and it was very, very hard to actually find what I wanted, and then I wasn't prone to putting them away. I then separated all of my headscarves. I put these sheer chiffon ones, which I have a lot of, in one box, and these solid ones in another box, a much larger box, because I have a lot of scarves. And then I used the last pink box, which are my favorite boxes, to put all of my robes and 1950s lingerie pieces into, because my drawers are simply just not big enough for them. And this again allows me to see everything that I have. This piece is a 1920s teddy. It's beautiful. And yeah, I was really happy with how everything went in.
Okay, so yesterday, I don't know if I explained that I realized I did not have enough storage boxes for the things that I need to put in them. I have been storing my vintage headscarves, like the non-chiffon ones, the solid ones, in a suitcase. And while that sounds nice and thrifty, and I really do like reusing and repurposing vintage luggage, it's not practical. I can't get into them. They're not easy to pull out. The suitcase is pretty heavy, and so like just getting in and out of that box, it's not working. And I don't put things away into it. So I decided to go back, as you can see, and look for more storage solutions. I also decided to try to replace the baby's storage bins, because they're all different bins. Some of them are soft, everything falls out of them, they don't have lids, it's just not working, and I wanted the storage to all be in the same color scheme. So let me show you what I got. First of all, I got more of these, which you can plainly see. I ended up buying everything they had left in this pattern, which was 2 of the medium-sized boxes and then 1 little one. And then they had 2 of these medium-sized boxes and a large hydrangea one. So I grabbed those as well. Then for the baby's clothes, I ended up picking up 4 of these blue bins. They kind of go with the color scheme. And then lastly, so far as storage goes, I needed something to put my sweaters in. So I got this semi-large, there you go, you can kind of see the scale of it. This is a fabric box. It has an attached lid, which I really like. I don't like losing lids to things. So one of the reasons I like these boxes is that the lid's not going to come off of them. It's attached. I think this is big enough for my sweaters, and again, it's in the color scheme of like the blues and pinks that I'm going for in this room. So anyway, let's get into it.
Taking everything out of this closet was such a job. There were so many things hidden away behind the wall that I had forgotten existed, which is a little bit sad, and I'm really glad that I took on this project because it desperately needed doing. And I will actually say, because a lot of people ask me like how things work out once I've been done with them, once the video comes out. And I will say this system so far has been working really well. It's only been a couple of weeks, so I can't say long term. And for a neurodivergent person, like a couple of weeks isn't really that long. It's only been a couple of weeks, so I can't say like super long term, but for how things are set up right now, it is so much better. It is so much better because everything has a very, very specific place. And when I cleaned out the closet, I got rid of a ton of stuff. There were just random things everywhere that we didn't need. A lot of the closet held my husband's film gear, which he realized like he could sort into the shelf we have for that now. So it was really refreshing to actually go through all of this. And here you can see me sorting the baby clothes, which I also decluttered because I hadn't gotten rid of some of the things that didn't fit him. But yes, the system is working very, very well, so I'm really happy with it. But here, let's take a break to talk about today's sponsor, who is Brooklinen. If you have watched my channel for any length of time, basically last year, you will know that I have worked with them, I think 4 times now.
And I can unequivocally say they are my favorite sheets. And I'm not just saying that because they've sponsored this video. Like, legitimately, without even knowing which of my white sheets are the Brooklinen sheets, those are the ones that I always gravitate toward and pull out. I actually changed my bed into this bedding from other Brooklinen sheets, and I have like a plethora of options, but Brooklinen sheets are just superior. Now, if you are not familiar with Brooklinen, they are a luxury sheets company creating high quality home goods to elevate your bedroom, and I think that they are the nicest sheets I've ever had. Actually, I know that for a fact, because as a thrifty girly and as a cheap girly, I had never purchased myself any kind of high quality bedding until Brooklinen reached out to me, and let me tell ya, I'm kind of spoiled now. So I chose the Luxe Hardcore Bundle, which includes sateen sheets that have a 480 thread count. They are so soft. And as you can see, I have the beautiful window pane print and the beach grass sheets. Let me tell ya, it's so pretty. They are so pretty. Honestly, y'all, I know that these are a slightly bigger ticket item for some of you, but if you can swing it, now's the time to do so. They are so nice. I promise you will not regret switching over to Brooklinen. The sateen sheets are my absolute favorite out of all of the ones that I have tried so far. They fit the best on my bed. They are so comfortable. They are so nice at night. Now, Brooklinen is celebrating their 10-year anniversary, which funnily enough coincides with my 36th birthday, and this was kind of a very fun little birthday gift for me to have them sponsor this video. I have noticed that of all of my sheets, the Brooklinen sheets just get softer every time that I wash them, which is a far cry from the sheets that I tried to use just last week that were not Brooklinen, which I put them on my bed and I've had them for a while now, and they ripped right at my foot. Something else that I really like is that they don't pop off of the corners of my bed when I'm sleeping, which is my biggest pet peeve. As a neurodivergent girly, I need my bedding to look and feel a certain way, and when it is not nicely tucked in and well fitted, it drives me nuts at night. I've never had an issue with Brooklinen. They are beautiful. I've also noticed that with the duvet cover and these sheets, I don't run as like extreme on the ends of hot or cold in bed. When it's winter, I get really cold. When it's summer, I get really hot. With Brooklinen, that is so much less. I noticed that my body temperature runs so much more even with Brooklinen sheets and the duvet cover. We don't have to have an extra blanket. I literally just have an extra blanket on the bed for looks. I don't need it. So, like I mentioned, it's their anniversary, and if you are a longtime Brooklinen supporter, or if you are new and you want to try them out, they are having a 25% off sale throughout the entire website until May 6th. So now is definitely the time to try it, especially because their bundles are up to 45% off, which is an amazing deal. Head over to Brooklinen through the link in my description box. And thank you so much to Brooklinen for sponsoring this video and getting me a little birthday present through your anniversary. It is wonderful. Let's get back into the video.
I think I'm just gonna... So... here's the thing. I have multiple chenille blankets and quilts, and I cherish them. I like having options when it comes to bedding, which is part of the reason why I keep working with Brooklinen, because I really like their sheets and I like their coverlets, and generally speaking, I just like to have options for throughout the year. I like quilts because I can take them outside and have picnics. I can put them over my bed for a different look. I just like options. However, I know I should probably get rid of some of this bedding because it's too much. And this, granted, is bedding for 7 people. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds. We'll put it that way. The baby, you know, he has a bassinet over there that has been piled upon by my husband's clothes because my darling husband, much like myself, is a piler, in that we both tend to make piles of clothing and not put it away, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this entire organizing, because
if I have convenient and beautiful, specifically beautiful, convenient, and not stuffed organizational options, I am more likely to put things away. I don't mind opening a lid. The problem for me is when things get so full that I can no longer get another thing in there. I'm having that problem with my dresser, so I don't tend to put away my shirts because I have too many clothes in my dresser, and that's a different video maybe someday. Let me know if you want to see me declutter my tops. But if the option to put things away is not easy, I'm not going to do it. That is why these did not work for my hats, both because our cats would just come and sleep in the hats and smash them and knock these off of the shelves, but also because it was not easy to get my hats in and out of here because they were kind of stuffed end to end rather than put in boxes that could easily fit them. So I need to go through all of my linens. Can't I just take a nap?
I am a linens girly. I don't actually buy a whole lot of sheets because I like Brooklinen so much. I don't buy a lot of sheets, but I do buy a lot of pillowcases. I really like to change out the pillowcases, and I think that it adds a little bit of flair to a bed. But anyway, one of the things that I did, inspired by a post I saw on Facebook, is I put all of these sheet sets into the pillowcases that matched those sets. So here you can see I put my Brooklinen sheets into the pillowcase that matched, and I did that with several other sheet sets that I own. That way, instead of having to dig through a bin to find the sheets that match and the pillowcases that go with it, I can just grab a little bundle right there off my shelf. I'm so glad that I did that. It is working so well. But here you can see I am folding my chenille blankets, which are all vintage and thrifted. And I tried to fold everything so that the main pattern on the chenille was visible even while it was folded, so I could see if I was going to change out the blanket, I could see which one I wanted. And then I also tried to kind of fold them the same size, which was a task. And shout out to my mom for this beautiful quilt she made me that no longer fits my bed because I got a bigger bed. I really love it. After I finished the sheets, it was time to organize my vintage magazines, and this is where I did buy something off of Amazon while I was trying really hard not to. I couldn't find any magazine holders that I liked that also kind of matched the closet and were affordable. So I got these cardboard ones off of Amazon, and I sorted my magazines by type and year. I cannot with this ad. For a fact, you can give even the sparkling drink to babies and without any qualms. Lots of mothers do just that. Oh my word, this is hilarious. No! So I would sort out like the McCall's magazines and then organize them by the year and the month that they were put out. And the system worked really well. I actually had just exactly enough to store my magazines. I just need you all to see how like iconic this cover is. It's amazing. I need Rachel Maxey to recreate it. So this is where I want all of you to sound off in the comments and let me know if this idea is something that you would like me to do. I have been considering for a while that I should maybe start channel memberships and offer a little bit of extra content for all of you whenever I can do it. However, it has to be pretty low-key content. Things that are easy for me to film and edit. And so one of the things that I was thinking about offering in my channel memberships is sit down with me and look at vintage magazines. I have McCall's, I have Better Homes and Gardens, I have House Beautiful, and I also have a bunch of Sears magazines and Florida Fashions and Maternity Fashion and Lane Bryant, and I have fashion magazines and Glamour, as you just saw. I have fashion magazines from the 1930s up into the 1960s. I love them. I honestly watching, like, organizing them here, I really wanted to get some new ones because they're so much fun to flip through. But videos where I look through magazines just don't tend to perform very well on my channel. And while I do kind of post what I like to post, I also do have to be conscious about how well videos perform because it's my job. So what I was thinking was that I could start up channel memberships and do flipping through magazines, like a tea and chat type of video. And then I don't have to worry about how well the videos are performing. And then that's literally something that you can opt in to watch if you want to watch it. And if you don't really want that kind of content, then you don't have to be a channel member. So let me know in the comments. Here you can see this was like the last day I had for pulling stuff out of the closet. I was not feeling well. I definitely look like I'm not feeling well. I was in my grodiest clothes because your girl was getting over strep throat again. So anyway, I pulled everything out of the bottom of the closet and set to work organizing the very last bits. In the bottom of the closet was a lot of my husband's like filming props and costumes, and also these 2 bins were full of his stuff for filming mostly, and then there was also a bunch of storage stuff in the top that I hadn't pulled out. Forgive how I look. I am getting over a whole lot of sickness, but the last things that I have to deal with here on the bed, which you cannot see, is some of my husband's props. Some kind of random things like seasonal, like swimsuits. I have some big scarves. I have a box full of clothes that I didn't realize was up there. And then just some little bits and bobs. I have some like things that I use for props in my videos because if I'm doing, like I said, if I'm doing something that's super 1950s, then of course I will. I don't think you could hear me. Like I said, I will use some things as props in my videos. And I just have some stuff so what I have to decide is what goes on the top shelf, because that's going to be stuff that I don't need to get down very often. The biggest problem I have faced with my closet is the fact that a lot of the things that I use all the time, like my hats and my scarves and accessories, were on the top shelf because the hat boxes that I had before only fit on the top shelf. So now that I have boxes that fit on the middle shelves, I need to figure out what I'm putting on the top that I don't have to get into very often. And then kind of just, I think I'm keeping things generally the same area that they used to be. Like the baby clothes are on the same shelf and the linens are on the lower shelf. But I also want to figure out where to put all of my magazines. You can see them over here. I want them to be accessible because I love to look at them. Sometimes I will use them in videos. Sometimes I will make a video about them. Yeah, I just have to figure out how I want to organize my closet now. And I have to label the boxes so that I know what's what, because although I did kind of color coordinate things, I don't have the best memory, so. Here you can see me sorting my husband's props. That is not a real firearm. That is just a prop. But those are going to go to him to put in his new storage area for his film gear. And then I decided to condense my magazines a little bit so that I could put my beauty books into the magazine holders as well, so that they were easily accessible. Again, one of the things that I have never had is a good place to store things like this. I cannot put them on my regular bookshelves in the living room because the baby will pull them off the shelves, and he has ripped several of my vintage magazines. Also, side note, the beauty books are another thing that I've considered maybe just flipping through in channel memberships. Like, let's look through a beauty book. I do plan to make some main channel videos with the beauty books, but for like a sit and chat and flip through magazine video, let me know. But here I am switching out the hats on my wall. As you can see, like I said, a lot of people were really worried that, like, I was putting away all my hats and I wouldn't be wearing them, or what if I forgot what I had and I bought more. And I'm not putting away all of my hats. You can see I have several hats on my walls still. I'm just putting away the non-seasonal ones, especially because I have my closet curated to a certain color scheme. So I think that's a system that works pretty well for me, and it looks pretty. Then it was time to put everything back into the closet. And this took a lot of decision making on like what I was going to need to access and how I should stack things and where I should stack things. And I mainly decided to put all of my hats on the top shelf in their boxes because they are so much easier to get up and down in these boxes. I stored a lot of just storage type things behind the wall where they were not visible. And I put the majority of my magazines up on the top shelf as well because I don't get into them often enough to need them like daily or, weekly even. But I did put my fashion magazines and beauty books on the middle shelf.
First of all, I need you all to admire my new mug. It's my new favorite thing. He's so angry. Look at Chip. Although I don't understand if this is supposed to be like a stirrer. It's just a little ball on the end. I don't know, does that have something to do with tea that I'm unaware of? Anyway, so the last thing I want to do is not closet related, but it is organization and access related. So I no longer have a vanity. I used to have my grandmother's waterfall vanity, but I made the mistake a long time ago of painting it mint green back when I did not like wood tones very much. I was in my early 20s. It was a mistake. And I tried to fix that and failed. And it warped the wood and it just destroyed the whole vanity. But I'm not too emotional about that because it was already falling apart. It was too short to sit at. It didn't have the original mirror. Like, it had a lot of issues. I am a little bit sad that I no longer have my grandma's furniture. In that respect, I do still own some of her furniture. But the vanity is gone. And for a long time, I have been carting all of my makeup, my everyday makeup, off of this shelf over to my bed where I sit and do it because the best light is at my bed. Or I will do it at my dresser. If my dresser is clear. And one of the big problems that I have, and I don't know if this is because I am neurodivergent or if this is a universal issue, is that if I'm not using a space in a way that is practical, it will often become a dump space. And that's what the dresser becomes, because I don't use the mirror. I don't use the dresser space for anything other than storage. So it becomes a place where I just kind of dump things. So what I'm hoping is I found this little makeup shelf. Is it a shelf? It's a shelf. And I'm going to put this on the dresser and put all of my everyday makeup and everything that I use on a daily basis here. And then hopefully, because it's all in one central place, and then I will be using the dresser mirror because I don't have a vanity, that will kind of prevent the dresser from becoming a dump space because now it's a practical space. So anyway, let's get into it.
So like I said, I wanted to make a space for my everyday makeup on my dresser, and this shelf has been so perfect. I have been using it for a week now, I think. And the only problem that I have is if I bump into the shelf on accident, or if my cats do, the top things kind of fall over because, mascara is not made to actually stand on end. I just put it that way to look pretty. Put my nail care set, my everyday earrings, my bobby pins, and my everyday makeup on the shelf. And then I stuffed some tissue into this vintage lady head, and I put all of my most used makeup brushes into her. And then I changed out my little brooch bowl here. I kind of store all my brooches that are too big for my regular makeup containers in there. I got these hooks because I've just had some ugly hooks in the wall for like nightgowns and stuff for bathrobes. So I changed them out, but the set came with 3, so I also changed out the hook that these necklaces were on, and then we are ready for the reveal. So, we are done with this closet. This took me way longer than I thought it would. Honestly, partially because I got sick. And then I am revising my novel, which I plan to self-publish, so y'all will hear about that when it's done. But I've been in this headspace where 1, I was sick, 2, all I want to do is write my novel, and 3, I was tired of having to go out and get other things that I needed for the closet. One of the things that I was trying not to do is shop on Amazon. I am trying to reduce my Amazon usage, and while I do still have an Amazon storefront just for the accessibility of people who watch me and who don't mind shopping off of Amazon, in general, I am trying to retrain myself to shop in person, especially after having so many kids and not having a car for a long time, and then having a pandemic. Like, all of those things just culminated in me constantly shopping online, and I'm trying really, really hard not to do that anymore. However, I did get 2 things off of Amazon because I just couldn't find them in person. The first thing was the little white labels that I put on my boxes. Every store that I went to, they were either not white, which wouldn't have been horrible, but either that or all they had was just like the ugly like square rectangle ones. I couldn't find any pretty ones. The other thing that I got off of Amazon, as you saw, was the little floral hangers. Again, like I went to several stores like Michael's and HomeGoods and Marshall's and Joann's, and I couldn't find single hooks anywhere that were pretty. And as I have said in this video, I am in, like, it is my mission to make things not only practical but also beautiful. And so that was annoying. All of the hooks that I could find were like just utilitarian, silver, metal, and ugly, and I couldn't really afford the ones on other websites that may have been slower fashion, but like, I will be honest, I spent about $200 just on the hat boxes. And that is a lot of money, but I knew that I would be spending a fair amount of money on these hat boxes. And I had budgeted this video like 3 or 4 months ago when I knew that I wanted to do this project. So, like, I had the money set aside. It was an expensive project. So, I want to be clear on that. Like, these boxes are not cheap. They're between $7 to $12 each. But for me, that's worth it, because I know that they will improve the quality in which I use this closet. I am no longer just tossing stuff in here and sorting through random cardboard boxes and plastic bins and ugly things that I don't like, so I don't want to take care of. And I know that's silly for a grown woman to be like, it's not pretty, so I'm not going to take care of it. That is how my brain works. The uglier it is, the less I want to look at it, and the less I care, to be honest. Somebody did ask me about the whole ADHD out of sight, out of mind thing. And because somebody saw me packing away all of the hats into my boxes when I made a little reel for Instagram. And I will say that I am keeping out all of my pink hats, and I have several other ones on my walls. So I kind of kept out the most, the ones that match my closet the most, but also because they're in these smaller boxes, and I have them separated by, like, there's blue and green in one box and purple and floral in another box, and hairnets in another box, and then the black and browns are all together. That makes it so much easier to just like get a box out, get out a hat, put it away. I am not buying new hats. I have so many hats. I have gotten rid of so many hats. I am no longer purchasing new ones unless they're extremely, extremely special. So I'm not too worried about like buying a bunch of purple hats and then realizing I already have a bunch of purple hats, because I'm just not buying them anymore. I did really quickly want to touch on the people who have donated money through my Ko-Fi to help with the expense that we've accrued in fixing our septic system. The system is fixed, the drain field is fixed, but of course it costs a lot of money to do that, and so now we have a loan to pay off. And while I'm very thankful that we didn't have to pay that money up front, it's still a lot of money that we were not expecting to have to pay monthly. A couple of you have sent so much, and I am floored. I cannot express like the mornings I woke up and people donated amounts that to me is a lot of money. To other people it might not be, but I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm not gonna cry. Well, maybe I am, but that's okay. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna drink my coffee until I can stop. I read somewhere that when a child is having a meltdown, you can hand them some water to sip, and it will like kind of work in their system to cool down and hydrate and distract. And I've literally, that's what I'm doing to myself right now, except for it's coffee. Anyhow, I just want to say thank you. You have helped relieve a lot of financial stress that we have been dumped into. And while it will still probably take a year or two to pay off the loan, you all have really, really helped. And I want to say that all of the money that's been donated towards that, which, you know, I assume people have seen my video and donated, all of that money has gone straight to the loan. And none of it is going towards the silly little things that I buy for my videos. I use my ad revenue or sponsor money for that. So just thank you so much. I did not expect anyone to really donate anything towards helping with that. You really, really don't have to. Also, I want to stress that I don't expect people to send me money. Just the only reason I ever mention my Ko-Fi is because people have asked me about it. And I heard this saying that was something along the lines of like, don't prevent people from sending kindness into your life. And so I'm trying to allow myself to accept kindness into my life, because I, for a long time, had a hard time asking for help and accepting help. And so here we are. I am trying to be open with you all. Please don't feel obligated to send me money. You absolutely do not have to. But to those of you who have, it literally relieved so much of the worry and stress that I had about the finances, because in this day and age, the finances are never fun. So, with all of that said, that was this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like I have said in my other videos, if you can watch and share and like and comment, it will really boost me in the algorithm and help while we pay off this massive loan because of an emergency in our septic system. But that is all that I really need you to do. You guys have helped so much with my ad revenue. I am doing my very best to film and edit more videos, but like I said, I am also editing a book which I have been working on for 4 years and have decided to self-publish. So hopefully sometime in the next 6 months or year, that book will be published, and then I will get to share that with all of you, and it will be very exciting. But until then, that was this video. I hope that you enjoyed watching my little closet declutter and refresh and organizing. I hope this inspired you to go out and find yourself beautiful solutions if you have been wanting them. I hope that you know that I'm sending you all giant hugs if you like them. And that I am forever grateful for the audience that I have, and I will never be able to comprehend how lucky I am in having all of you around.
Thank you so much to Brooklinen for sponsoring this video. That is also helping relieve a lot of financial stress. And I genuinely do love Brooklinen, so if it is something that is within your wheelhouse to purchase, I really highly recommend them. So that is it for this video. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope that wherever you are feeling safe and loved. And until I see you again, have a beautiful day, and thank you for watching. Bye!